Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and I know it has been a really long time since I have actually made a new video and released it. Life is just happening with all kinds of things. So I was going to say, let's talk about, I feel like I had more things in my mind that I could talk about in this video, and now when I was like getting my stuff together, I just have two things. So we'll see. The first thing is a finished object, something I started and finished, and I'm kind of excited about. So last year, I made my husband I want to say maybe his year before, an anniversary gift of a Nurgling. For you nerds out there, or husbands who partake in this kind of a nerd fest, it's some kind of a monster that has to do with like D&D. And they look like little green slimes in my mind, and their intestines are falling out. And so my husband likes them, and last year I just sat down and freestyled, made him a Nurgling. He actually asked if I wanted to show the one that I made last year, and I said no, I'm just going to show you. So this year I decided to make another one for him, because I thought maybe every year I'll make him a Nurgling, and he can build his own Nurgling army. Now, when I went last year to make him one, I couldn't find a pattern, or at least a free pattern. So I made something up, but I didn't write anything down. And this year, I made a little bit different looking Nurgling, and I wrote down everything I did step by step, because I'm hoping to release a pattern. Now, Nurgling apparently is a copyrighted name for the D&D group. I don't know the company. So I'll have to call it something else. I'll think on it. But this is what I made him. He does look like a happy Nurgling. But I just kind of combined things that I knew in making amigurumi, where I made one leg and then I finished it off, and then I started another and I joined it with the chain, and then I crocheted around. I made the whole body. I'll get to this part in a minute because this was a last. And then I started doing some decreasing. And then I embroidered this mouth. One thing that I do when I make my amigurumis is I try really hard to make all the pieces attach before I close them off, because I don't like sewing on. I like to be able to sew in, if that makes any sense. And then I gave him a little red eye over here and a bigger brown eye there. And I probably got to about here when I attached their eyes, and then I embroidered the mouth. These are supposed to be teeth, yellow teeth. He's got different sized eyes. I sewed around the eye to give them some dimension and dirtiness. I made him this weird little flubby nose. And then this is supposed to be a horn. It's a spiral. And this is an ear, and this is an ear. I made them and just attached them, though they are having a hard time. This one stands up further than the other. Then I sewed on his arms, and then I sewed up the top of his head. He looks plain here. This is just a pink spiral. This is his intestines. And I sewed it here, and then I stitched along, and then I made it curly here. And then I took and did like a slip stitch single crochet around here, so it makes it look like it's coming out of his belly. So yeah, I actually wrote this up as a pattern. I'm probably going to make a couple like little tutorial videos that I will have released on my channel, which you could watch for the heck of it. But more specifically, when I write this pattern, I'm going to put down, you know, see video, and then put the name of the video, like Nurgling intestine. Or if I can't use the word Nurgling, I'm going to use green monster, maybe. I don't know. And so that if you follow along with the pattern and then you type in that, I could also put it digitally and have a link, of course, right? But I made this for him. I gave him some toenails, I guess. He has these little curled up fingers. That's the best thing about these like weird little monsters is that, like, if you notice, this arm is up higher than that one. And this ear comes out, you can see the back of him a little different. And because they're ugly little monsters, you know, you can make them however you want, right? This eye is a little higher up than that eye because it's supposed to be like a goblin Okay, he is impressed. And the second part of the anniversary gift is my husband is constantly encouraging me to write my own patterns and release them. So I said I was going to officially type this up as a pattern, probably try to put it on Ravelry. I've debated ever having like a Summer's Tips and Stitches website. I don't really know how to run that. And that I could put patterns on there. So in some form, there will be some kind of a pattern release for that. So that is everything that I had for him. I made him out of existing yarn. This is Succulent Cairn 1 Pounder. That's the color of this. This is my favorite brown. It's a Red Heart Super Saver Cafe Latte. I use this for his horns, his nose, and around his eyes. This red, I don't even remember what this is. It's some kind of pinkish. You could use red if you wanted it to be more red or whatever. This is just embroidery. So that's all he was made out of. I used a lot of stuffing because what I actually did when making him is when I started making, I started increasing right here to give him this big fat belly. Do you see how he has no, I thought about stitching him a little bum crack actually. But you see how he has a flat back but then a big tummy? So I actually wrote that down as like a stitch pattern. I'm actually pretty proud of myself about that. So we'll see how I can get it out. You guys, I'm not very confident in my pattern writing, but I will try. So that was one of the big things that I made. That's aside from the last video where I talked about those crochet flowers, I actually haven't crocheted or knitted anything. I was reading another book from the Crochet Murder Mystery series. I don't have my glasses. This is called A Stitch in Crime. And I've talked about these a few times. And one of you lovely subscribers bought them, all of them for me. This is the 4th book in the series. And this is about a crochet club. I think they call themselves Tarzana. I'm trying to remember, and I don't have my reading glasses, so I can't see. They have a crochet club that meets in a bookstore. 2 of the main characters work in the bookstore, and part of like a giving back, a service project, the owner of the bookstore sponsors this crochet club. And they've made blankets for little children that the police can give as comfies. They made blankets for the animal shelter. And in this book, the owner of the bookstore is doing like a weekend getaway where you can take these classes, and she's organizing it. And then last minute, she asks Molly, the main character, to run this retreat getaway. And there's a crochet group there. There's a knitting group there. There's somebody who's, you know what? I think they call him Commander. I'm not even quite sure what that guy's doing, but he's running around doing a lot of stuff. And then there's a yoga guy, yoga classes, all kinds of classes that you can do in your spare time. And they have these experts teaching. And so she's over there running this retreat. And of course, as these books would suggest, with A Stitch in Crime, there is a death. And so they have to decide, is this a murder? And Molly likes to get herself involved in the crime solving. She's the one that you're following through to figure out who. And I'm going to be honest, I was shocked at the end. Normally, I have an idea of where it was going, but this one, I was shocked. I do like to make the pattern. In the last 2 books, or last 2 or 3 books, I have made the pattern that was recommended, because at the end of this book, the really cool thing that this gal does is she's got Adele, one of the characters in here, comes up with a new stitch, Adele's marshmallow stitch, and so she explains how that stitch goes. And then also Commander Blaine's Savory Sweet Mini Cream Puffs. There's a recipe. She always has some kind of food item that's mentioned in the story frequently, and then she has the recipe in there. She also puts a recipe in here for s'mores, and no offense to the author, Betty Hetchman, I think everybody knows s'mores. But anyway, there is one in here, and it's pretty much what you would, the classic s'mores. But also for us crocheters, there is a crochet pattern in here for, I'm trying to find it in here. It's for the all-purpose pouch purse. Now, I don't have the yarn that she calls for in here, and it's discontinued. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to make it out of, and I started making it out of a, where is that yarn? A Karen cotton ripple cake, and I didn't really like how it was coming up. So I kind of put a hold on it, and I was like, you know what? I will do that later. And then I just forgot and moved on. So I will put a link in the description to these books. These all are on Amazon. There's like 6 books in the series. And like I said, this is 4. I've got a couple more. I've really enjoyed reading them. They're usually a pretty quick read. During the summertime, I could probably read it in a day, day and a half. This did take me probably a full week, because I was just reading it after school here and there, at a doctor's appointment, waiting for Maddie and her voice lessons. They're not, you know, classical literature. It's not going to take you a while to get through, but it's a real nice story, and I like that it's about crochet. And interestingly enough, there is a battle throughout these books between crochet and knit. One of the characters in here, Adele, is anti-knit. So that was really interesting. Yeah. Now, I do have a couple patterns that I really want to make. I just got back from a weekend getaway. My husband and I just celebrated a 20-year wedding anniversary. And so it was a couple weeks ago, actually, to be fair, or a week ago. But we got a hotel just in Appleton, not too far away. And we were just relaxing. We brought some crafting stuff to do. We got the hotel for a couple days. There was a hot tub, and we just walked around Appleton's downtown. But I also spent some time looking through my news feed, and I found some really cute patterns. One of them I've actually made before, and I want to say it was from the Crochet Crowd. I'm going to insert some pictures right here of the 2 patterns that I was looking at. I just screenshotted them, so somebody else made these or has patterns, and I'll see about linking into the description where you can get these patterns. Okay, so one of them was a ripple blanket, and I have made that pattern before with a Karen cake, and it was kind of like rainbowy, and it had a row of puff stitches, a row of X stitches, and it looks really cool depending on the type of yarn you're making it in. I think the picture I showed of you, it's made in sections of teal, like aqua, teal, and a lighter kind of greenish blue. But the one that I really want to make is that heart pattern. I hate to go to the store to buy any more yarn when you see everything that I have here. But I really am thinking about the quality of yarn that I have. Probably going to make it out of a good old acrylic, either Red Heart, Big Twist. Because I do have quite a lot of white, and I think the one in the picture is kind of cream. And so I think I'm going to do it with a white main background color. And then I'm going to do it in the hearts I haven't decided if I was going to do it in reds and pinks and purples, or if I was going to follow the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And then I really want to have the true rainbow colors. So my next step after talking to you in this video is sorting through my stash and seeing if I can get together the yarn to make that heart blanket. But those were the kinds of things that I was thinking about. There's also, I saw it over here. Let me dig around in my stuff. There's also another rainbow baby blanket that I was thinking about making. I got this from Hobby Lobby. I've had this for quite a while, and I've never made it. And do you see how cute that it has, like the puff stitch, and it's in a rainbow? I've actually considered making this. Again, if I were to make it, I would want to make it in the colors of the rainbow. Yeah, so that would be interesting. And this one is made with, I think, Yarn Bee yarn. And again, I would make it out of regular acrylic. But I really wanted to get on there. Let me put all that back up there. I want to really get on here, make a video, do some chatting with you guys. You know, this is really a tough time of the year in general because we're in school pretty much full time straight across. There's not a break for a while. And it's Wisconsin. It's been negative degrees with wind chill. It's like negative 25, negative 35. And so with indoor recess, I'm just tired when I come home. But I did get a chance to make something. Yeah, I did get a chance to make something, and I read a book. Okay, you guys, that's really it for this yarn chat. I'll try to put in some links to those pictures of those blankets. I'll have to look them up because I knew they were Facebook posts and they had links to get free patterns. So I'll see what I can find. But if not, one of those, the one that was made of like the aqua teal type colors, I know Crochet Crowd has a pattern for that. All right, thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing. Until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.